Hello and welcome back to
Bunso Bites.
I'm your host Ami43.
And I'm your co-host Chiggy.
Hi Chiggy.
Hi Ami.
Do you like our new setup?
The setup is still the same. We just took out the table.
Well, I was about to say, so as you guys know in our kind of more recent episodes, we were doing a different type of setup where we record with 3 people. We added in a chair in the middle, and so now we took out the chair, and originally there was a table here, so I was kind of playing around with it, and I feel like this is more like cozy. I don't know. I like it. I hope you guys like it. Let us know. I feel like closer to you, which is nice, because I feel like that I'm having a conversation with you, which is the whole point. So, yeah, and I like the way it turned out. Okay. You're so funny. But how are you? How have you been this week, Chicky?
Well, I've been just meh. But because I know...
Good or bad, right?
It's neither good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling meh because I know that this week is going to be my birthday.
I know.
And so I'm not anticipating anything, but I did take the day off.
Yes.
And so I'm just going to be taking my car into the shop.
There you go. That works perfect.
Yeah.
Being productive almost.
Yes, just being productive, not doing anything really strenuous. But yeah, just having the day to myself.
Yeah. Are you feeling meh for your birthday specifically because, like, it feels like bittersweet that you're getting another year older, or you're just kind of like, you're feeling meh because there's nothing grandiose happening?
The latter.
Well, okay. I want to make this very clear. He has asked me not to do anything. Like, very blatantly, specifically asked me not to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have plans coming up this month, with other things going on. But it's not for you specifically requested to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So then why are you feeling meh about it?
Just meh. It's just another day in my life.
That's not true. Your birthday is special. You're special, so your birthday is special.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the two of us, I definitely take our birthdays more seriously. We don't generally do, major holidays, so to me, birthday is like a holiday for us. I know I always take off work whenever it's my birthday, and I always encourage Chiggy to do the same for his birthday, but, at the same time, it's like, it doesn't make it less important. Like, it is still important. It's still your day.
Yeah, and I feel and I choose, like, doing nothing.
Yeah, and that's
so
perfectly valuable.
It's just meh.
You're making me regret not planning anything now because I'm just like, hello?
No, I'm telling you, you shouldn't have planned anything.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the understanding that we made.
Mm-hmm.
But you feeling meh makes me feel bad.
That's not my fault.
What the world?
I want to feel like meh, so I'm going to feel like meh.
Okay. And you're sure you don't want anything for your birthday?
I'm fine.
To be fair, we did kind of have like lunch with my family, and we counted that almost like a little baby birthday celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like blatantly like happy birthday, but it was still just like we sang happy birthday for you. You blew out a candle. It was very nice. It was a nice meal with my family. So, I mean, that was a little something without going crazy, right?
Mm.
So don't feel meh. Feel happy.
No, I'm going to feel meh because I want to feel like meh.
Because you're getting old?
Yes, I'm old.
You old
Meh.
man.
I can just feel like meh because I want to.
Yeah. Okay, that's valid.
So, let me be.
Okay. Like I said, I'm just here as support and as love,
Good.
Whatever that means.
Good. That's how I want it.
Okay.
So, how about you? How are you feeling? Do you have a weekly update?
Not really a weekly update per se. We just have a lot of things going on. Our friend's wedding's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Our wedding shower is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of moving pieces. In addition to all of that, still the government is shut down, so still no paycheck. I definitely had a moment at work today where it was very, I don't know, the weight's just really heavy. Like, we're still like all working, and we're still trying our best and trying to, get things done, but we are so severely cut on our staffing, like severely cut on our staffing. And, you know, on top of that, it's like working without a paycheck, and then the uncertainty of it it's a lot to take in. And then it's not like I can't watch the news because I have to watch for updates. 9 times out of 10, we get updates through the news before we even get it at work, which is crazy. But if I watch too much news, it's all very the world is ending vibes. Like, there's problems here, problems there. People are getting sick. People are dying. People are hungry. There's no food. There's no money. There's, you know, like, there's so many bad things. And it's hard to distance myself from that when at the same time I need to be as up to date as I need to be on the status of things, so I know what my status is as a worker. All of this is it's used all the time, anywhere and everywhere, and I hate this word, but it's all very unprecedented because we've never experienced anything like this. The last furlough that did happen, and it was a similar thing of they were disagreeing about the continuing resolution and or the budget, but they resolved it quickly. Now, it seems like they don't care to resolve it quickly. Whoever they is. I mean, if you want to argue sides, you can argue sides. I'm not here to make a political statement. That's not my job to. I just work for the government because I service, the government. I service the Navy. But it's like, it's really hard. It's also hard to, a lot of my coworkers have like confided in me, and they're like, they're having a hard time even being motivated because they're like, why am I even doing this to myself? We're working very intentionally without a paycheck. We're all, now at this point, majority of us have taken out, advances or loans because we're not getting paychecks. Majority of us, thankfully, military got paid. So, people we know, thankfully they got paychecks, which is good. So it's not everyone. And I know that helps a lot. But it's still just a lot of unknown, and I think that's really hard. So that's kind of, it's like this weird thing of my work feels very, as much as I'm working every day and I'm pushing work and, in and out of my inbox and all that stuff, work feels stagnant because the government is stagnant. Like, we're literally at a pause/stoppage. Everyone's predicting it's going to last forever, and I'm just like, great. But then at the same time, you and I are in the throes of wedding planning, and getting all those things together, in addition to our friends getting married later this month. And so it's like, and I'm helping with that. I know you'll be helping too in your way. So it's like, my life can't stop, but a big part of my life has stopped, and it's a very weird disconnect. I mean, thankfully I'm okay. Thankfully we're okay, but it's definitely it's a weird situation. Unprecedented. I really hate that word because everyone's saying it, and I'm just like, at this point, it feels like it's lost all its meaning. Because every single time there's an update, an unprecedented update. Oh, okay, well, the last 7,000 updates were unprecedented, so it's just like, okay, All that to say, I'm very grateful that you and I both have such strong support systems in our family and our friends. So, like, I'm not worried about us for all intents and purposes. It does make coordinating a little difficult, but for all intents and purposes, we're fine. Everything is fine. Nothing's on fire right now. It's just a weird situation. So my weekly update this week is a feeling. Talking about military life, talking about government life. As we've said before, was it like at our first episode or maybe like our first couple episodes, we mentioned before that both Chiggy and I are military brats. And that means that, at least in our case, it was our dads. Our dads were active duty at some point in their lives. And we, at some point in our lives, were part of like that cycle and part of that community. And we wanted to, we wanted to take a minute to kind of like go back and talk about the places that we've been. Kind of like when we were talking about, future, our honeymoon destinations or whatever. It's kind of like we just want to talk about the places that we have had the opportunity to live in because we're military brats. We've both had the opportunity to live overseas, which is really, really cool. I think it's really, really cool. And we've had the opportunity to live in multiple places within the continental United States. If I say the words CONUS and OCONUS, one means OCONUS, outside of continental United States. CONUS means continental United States. I don't mean to confuse anyone if I say that. That's just a common thing that I have to say for work, and so I might say that in this episode. But we've had the wonderful opportunity of doing that. That also means, although I don't know, I'm not sure if you were too young when you were overseas. I've had the opportunity to go to school overseas, which is really cool. You went to school overseas as well? Okay. I don't remember the ages for yours. So, we just wanted to take this episode, go down memory lane, and kind of just talk about our experiences as military brats. So, Chiggy, we'll start with you as the elder, since you mentioned your birthday is coming up anyways. How many, or I guess, what were the places that you've lived in? Like, just list them as a list.
Okay. So as a list, when I was born, I was born here in the continental United States, CONUS, in Georgia.
Okay.
And then after Georgia, we went to Guam.
Okay.
From Guam, it's kind of a little shady and murky, but
can you give like age ranges?
So from like newborn to about 1.5.
Oh, you were young. Okay.
Yeah, is Georgia, and then from like 1.5 to like 4.5.
Sure.
Maybe
so before
5.
you started school.
No, I attended school.
Okay.
We were in Guam. But I did attend school there. I did not attend preschool. Started straight to kindergarten.
Oh, cute.
And then from Guam, we did like a couple of months in the Philippines.
Okay.
And then a couple of months in San Diego.
Oh, I didn't know you did San Diego.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then we went to Italy for 3 years. Let's say 6 to 9, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
And then from Italy, we went to Maryland. So 9 to about 11 to 12.
Okay.
Or 12 to 13.
Right.
And then from Maryland to Virginia.
Okay. So you did a lot of your traveling way earlier in your life. So you were kind of hopping around as a baby / toddler, and then and then you did school in, you said, or your elementary school was Italy and Maryland, right? You kind of split there.
Guam and Italy.
Guam and Italy, I'm sorry. Okay. And then like middle school, high school, you're in
Middle
Maryland.
school was Maryland.
High school was here. Yeah. So, wow, that's really interesting because I was about to say, we're both bunso, obviously, but I definitely kept traveling a little bit later on in my life. So for me, I was born in Florida, and then we moved to Virginia for a few years. After Virginia, when I was about 6.5, almost 7. No, too early. 7 or 8. We went to Japan, and I lived in Japan until I was 13. So like I pretty much did like my end of my elementary school, all of middle school overseas. And then my brother came back to the States a year before we did because he started college. And then we came back to the States the following year because my dad's tour was up, and then I stayed in Florida up until I moved here, essentially. So at least, I guess kind of similar that like we traveled a little bit earlier, and then we kind of like settled by like high school, college. But I think that was very intentional because of high school and college. I think our parents, I'm going to assume, our parents made the very intentional decision to try to relatively stay in one place so that we can finish high school and college, consecutively, and then hop into whatever we're going to do with our lives. But yeah, so you did Europe or your accent, and I did Pacific and Japan, which is really, really cool. Do you have a lot of memories? Oh no, you did Guam too, technically. Do you still like remember things from Guam? You were very young though, but like, what kinds of things do you remember from Guam?
So in Guam, I remember the house that we lived in.
Okay.
Just like the layout of the house, and then going to church. I remember the chapel grounds, and that's really about it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of remember going to kindergarten. I just knew I was like in a gifted program,
Okay.
and like for whatever reason, like this gifted program, like I just remember one of these sessions that they had me. They were reading a book to me, and they were reading the book upside down. It's a special program thing.
Okay.
Like, I was able to like read with them and like follow along with the book being upside down, and
like it was facing upside down to you, or they were just holding it upside down.
no,
for
they're
themselves?
facing it upside down to me.
Oh.
But they were still reading it because they could look down and read it.
Oh.
But when it was shown to me, it's upside down.
Oh, okay.
So, it's just one of those things that they like test you to see if you're gifted.
Oh.
And I was just like, yes, I understood what you read to me. I could read the entire book as you were holding it upside down.
Oh,
but they never said anything that it was upside down.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It was like one of their tests.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought it was weird because like why would you hold the book upside down?
Yeah, that's such an interesting technique.
Yeah. But I do remember back in Guam that when I went outside in our backyard, there was like a little slit in between two walls.
Okay.
And there lived the big spider there.
Oh.
And it was humongous. It didn't move though.
Oh.
I was poking it with like leaves and stuff.
What the world? You were poking it?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It was just there. I was like, hi.
Was it dead?
No, it was still alive.
And it was like, it looked at you and you're like, oh.
It was just chilling.
Yeah. It looked at you and was like, oh, that's a baby one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah. Other than that, Guam was known for having typhoons.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so typhoon season there was pretty crazy because it would literally just knock everything out. And like a bunch of trees and debris would be in the road and stuff. And, you know, you just had to wait it out the entire time. And once you're done, everyone would go outside and clean up the roads. And that's how it was. But yeah. The only other thing I remember from Guam is that we started gaming with the Nintendo, the original NES.
The gray and purple.
No, that's Super.
The
gray and black.
gray and black. Yes. Sorry.
Two buttons.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Red buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm tracking. I'm
Yeah.
tired, y'all.
So we started playing games young. Like I was 2-3 years old. Still trying to learn how to play Mario. But yeah, that was my stay in Guam. We stayed there for about 3 years. My dad was also like on deployment, so he was actively on the ship too. And so there would be like a year or so where he was just not around.
Wow.
I'm just like, where's Dad?
You remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it was just my mom and her taking care of the three of us, and she was also taking care of other kids too because she was CDC,
which is Child Development Center for those who don't know.
Yeah, and
it's
so
essentially like pre-kindergarten, kind of, but not really. And it's for like it's normally at most military installations or bases. It's a service that they offer for military families.
And like I remember there being like a bunch of different younger kids than me.
Oh,
like
yeah.
baby toddlers type kids, and there was one especially. It was a baby, very very chubby, like 6 months old, and we loved the heck out of that kid because he was so chubby and squishy. And then my mom was like, oh, that used to be you when you were a baby.
Aww.
And I was like, oh yeah okay.
Like, I used to be loved. No, I'm joking.
Basically. But yeah, even my brother and sister, they always helped out whenever there were other kids in the house.
Right.
And we would take care of them as like they were our own brother and or sister. So it was cool.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that, like, you actually, like, had other kids at your house. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say something to point out, and this is something that you hear a lot when military kids talk about their experiences, or, like, they are, they kind of recount how they grew up. One of the words that is, I hear all the time, and I didn't believe it growing up because it was normal for me. And I think the same could be said for you. Like, that was your norm. When your dad wasn't there, or, like, when military life was being military life in the sense, a lot of times military kids, and most especially military spouses, you're called resilient because you just have to roll with the punches. If dad's not there for whatever reason, they're out off on a ship, they're out to war, they're out doing whatever, they have to do their job, they have to whatever, and they're gone weeks, months, sometimes years at a time, your life doesn't stop. You know, you still have to go to school, you still have to be a normal person, and you still have to function as a normal family with a person just completely missing. I'm saying military spouse and, like, dads, like, just as that was our direct experiences. Obviously military spouses can mean the military person is the female and vice versa, but in our experience it was our dads. And so I know we were very fortunate. So my dad is a corpsman, and that means that he works mainly in hospitals. He does medical stuff. There was one instance where he was gone. He was on a ship just like your dad, and he was gone for, it was a couple months, like, in my head it's 18 months, but that's also in my head also that doesn't sound like the right number. It's somewhere between 9 and 18 months is what I remember. And one of the things that my mom did, which I thought was really, really cool, was she I don't know how she just came up with this idea. Maybe another military spouse told her or something. But she created this, like, chain link of just construction paper rings, like, interlocking. And it was just this long chain that went from, like, one side of the office to the other side of the office. And every fortnight, so, like, every 2 weeks or so, we got to unlock one of the chains. And obviously, like, as the timeline goes out, the chain gets shorter and shorter and shorter till the day that dad can come home. And I remember, like, and this is, like, back before smartphones. So, like, my mom would, like, take pictures with, like, the old school cameras and stuff. And we like, stored it in, like, an album so that when my dad got home, like, he could see that, you know, we waited. And it was really cool. Like, she put dates on it and everything. I don't know where my mom got this cool idea. But it helped because it reminded you that, oh, you know, the days are going, so time is passing, but also it's like, this is something to look forward to, and it doesn't feel as heavy and as weighty as it probably maybe would have been without, like, a fun activity in that sense. Like, my mom spun it to be a positive thing. She didn't make us feel any less or any more inferior just because our dad wasn't there. One of the things that my mom said, though, that when dad did come back from that deployment, he had a hard time adjusting because my mom had gotten so used to just doing everything by herself because she had to. Like, it was just her and me and my brother. And I want to say at the time I was under 7. Like, I was not a toddler, but not, like, a full-on independent child. My brother he's 5 years older than me, so he's like 10, 12, whatever it was. He's older than me. He's fine, but, you know, he's independent in that sense. And one of the things that my dad had to learn was that my mom would, like, she just took care of everything. And so when he came home, he was like, where do I fit in now? Because my mom was doing everything just out of the habit of doing it for the last so many months. I'm sure your mom felt the same way too, because especially if she's running a household of, like, multiple children, you know, and then she has to keep it together. Oh, you know, is so-and-so's homework done? Oh, I have to cook dinner. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to, like, the to-do list is never ending, but there's no other adults, so to speak, so you got to do it. And again, going back to the term I said earlier, being resilient in that, because you're just, it's not a test per se, but it's a understanding, or it's like you have to go through this, and the only way through it is through it. Like, you don't have any choice. Was your dad deployed often? What did he do for the military, if you don't mind me asking? You don't know?
No clue.
I'm dead. I knew my dad was a corpsman because like I got to visit the hospital and like see his office and see his work and all that stuff. But I love that you're just like, nope, he was just in the military. His job was military.
The ship.
Yeah, the ship. But yeah, and also I find it. Do you remember if in Guam did you live on base or off base? Because you said you remember the house, but like, do you remember if it's like a?
It goes off base.
Off base, yeah. When I lived overseas, we lived on base specifically because in Japan, if you live in off base housing, it is not an American style home. And by not an American style home, it means no air conditioner / heater, like traditionally speaking. I think they would have like one in a room, but not like there's no like central air or central heating. There are a lot of this is old school too. Like I'm sure maybe the housing has updated in Japan. Like it's been many a year. But when we lived there, if you lived on bays, like it would be the toilets that are like on the floor or like in the floor rather than like a traditional American toilet. It was the type of homes that were like they would have tatami mats instead of like beds. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can like bring a bed. You can bring in a mattress, I guess, but like it's a tatami mat room. You can't like install like a bed with a bed frame. Like that's just not how it is. Or the family room is also like the kitchen. Like it's like a main living room, and that's where everything happens. And then there's like the side room, which is the bedroom. So it's a very big culture shock, at least back then, if you were to live off base. We were fortunate enough that at the time we were able to get an on base housing option. The only thing was we couldn't live on the main base. So where we live specifically, there was a main base, which is where my dad worked. We went to school. All of the stuff was there. Commissary, NEX, you name it. The arcade that I grew up playing games at. And we lived on a housing base, which was a 45 to 55 minute drive. But if you took the train, it was only like 20, 30 minutes. But it was like you have to transport back and forth. It wasn't, So from a very young age, I was very fortunate, but I was able to learn how to use the Japanese train system because I had to. Mm-hmm. If I missed the bus, whatever it was, I was like, oh, well, I have to get to, the main base somehow. Or, if I had to get to the main base and my parents, already went to work, it was like, okay, well, I have to figure out how to get there on my own. And we did. Japan was very safe at the time, and I think it still is. So it was very, it wasn't difficult for me, and my parents were very trusting of me and the where we were, that they were like, no, it's totally fine and safe. That was kind of my favorite thing about living specifically in Japan was it felt like I had a lot more freedom in Japan than I did when I came back to the States. Because when I came back to the States, it was like, oh no, you can't do that because you're going to get kidnapped. Or, oh no, you can't, I couldn't go out as much. I didn't have as much freedom because here in the States, transportation relies heavily on driving. And when I moved back, I was 13, 14. I started high school in the States. So I didn't know how to drive. Not that how could I? I wasn't able to drive yet. I wasn't of age yet. And so I was just stuck only being able to go places if my parents took me or if my brother took me, which severely limited me in comparison to when I lived in Japan. I could just go. I could literally go to Tokyo if I wanted to, and it wouldn't, it's like I can take a train and then take a train back. Versus here, it was like, or for the States specifically, it's like you can't do that. So that I think was like the biggest thing. How about you when you went to Italy? Because you were a little bit older when you were in Italy. So how was that experience for you?
So in Italy, we lived off base again.
Okay.
But it was called the Towers.
Yes, we had towers too.
And so in our, I guess, neighborhood,
sure,
we live across a bridge from a small I wouldn't say commissary, but it was
mini mart?
Yeah, it was like a mini mart, but it was ID controlled.
Yes.
Yeah. And in that building was like a barber shop and a place where you can rent movies and games.
Okay.
And so that would be at the end of the bridge, like towards the mainland, and then we would have to take the bridge to get to the towers. And that place it's kind of like an island. I don't think that's the right word for it, but I know that like it was there was water on all sides.
Okay.
But it was just that community on that island.
Oh, okay.
And so when you take the bridge, as soon as you get to the front, you're met with like a basketball court.
Okay.
And then there's a small Italian shop at the first tower. And then, you take one road, the road goes around the entire towers. And so
like a circle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you take the road, you have the first tower. We lived in the fifth tower. So you take the road down to the fifth tower. And then when you turn into the tower, you have like garages where you can keep some cars or whatever. And I don't remember how tall the towers were. I just knew it was more than 9 floors.
More than 9?
Yeah.
Ours were 9 floors specifically.
And I could never, like, my parents didn't allow me to take the elevators up past where we lived at. We were only on the 5th tower, 3rd floor.
Oh, okay. Did your towers have names? Ours had names.
No.
Aw, boo.
It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. Oh, how many?
8.
8. Okay.
And so there's a basketball court, a small little Italian shop on the first tower. Then you have 8 towers of living spaces. And then around tower 6 or 7 was the CDC center.
Okay.
And so my mom worked there.
Sure.
And when I had to go to school, I had to take the bus. It met at the basketball court. And she didn't allow me to walk off the island, so I couldn't cross the bridge either.
Okay.
So I could say within the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then, so once you take the road from at the start of the towers and you loop around to the backside, and you start going out, going the other way, there is a park that's on that side when you're going out. And it's like a long stretch, like think of a sand dune or just like sand on the side.
Sure.
And there's like a high wall that's blocking the rest of the water.
Okay.
And like there's a park that's maybe 2 or 3 playgrounds, but it was just really long because it was all sand. There was one really big one. It had like a climbing wall and ropes where you can like climb up the ramp or something, and then had like a bridge with like chains and logs.
Kids parkour.
It was really a really good park for me.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was like a little hideout tower at the top, like at the highest part of the park. That's where all the kids would like to go.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember my brother, he didn't go like the regular way, but he was like hanging on like the support beams below the hideout tower. And he was just chilling there, and I remember someone pushed him and he like fell off, broke his arm.
No.
And like my mom was like, okay, you shouldn't be playing with those kids anymore.
I mean, mom's probably right, but yeah.
But I remember most vividly just when I get dropped off from school, because I'd be the last one to leave the house. I would have to walk myself over to the bus stop. And there was actually one year where my brother was still schooling with me. So like the first year I had him with me, but the year after that I had to be alone. So I had to walk myself. We are 3 years apart.
Oh, so why did you only have him for 1 year?
Because he went to high school already.
Oh, okay.
And I was still in elementary school.
Okay, I see.
So in Italy, like the way they had the grades separated, it was like K through 5. was elementary,
Right.
and then 6 through 12 was high school.
I see. Okay.
And so once he entered the 6th grade, I think I was still in 2nd or 3rd.
I see. Yeah.
And so I had to go to elementary school by myself.
By yourself. He went to the biggest school. Yeah. Okay.
And so I remembered I was given my own key because everyone left the house before I did.
Latchkey kids.
And they're like, okay, you know, you're supposed to go down to the bus stop at a certain time, lock up, and
Make sure
then
you lock the door. Double check you lock the door.
yeah, go to school, come back, go straight home.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything else. Go straight home.
Mm-hmm.
Go, you know, get yourself into the house, and then make sure you lock up behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, this is your responsibility. Like, make sure you stay safe. You know, make sure that you're walking with a friend or something. You know, while you get home,
Right.
and all that. And you know, fortunately, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like throughout those many days, I was, you know, walking
Rarely
home
on military bases.
But this was not a military base.
Or, well,
We're
you're
off
in,
base.
Like a housing community, right?
Yeah, housing community. It was with other civilians,
Yeah.
other non-military people,
I see.
and there was like native Italian people that lived there too. So it was like a mix of everyone.
Gotcha. I could see why they would be a little bit more apprehensive.
Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, nothing happened. Like some of the Italian people that we met there, they were actually pretty friendly.
Yes.
And you know, there was a bunch of kids, so we would sometimes hold like Philam meetups.
Cute. I love that.
On the towers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was actually like a big like hall that you could like rent out, and we would use that space sometimes.
Party room?
Yeah,
party rooms are the best, man.
And you know, Philam, they would have, of course, just a potluck of a bunch of food.
All the foods.
And they would always have karaoke.
Like an unnecessary amount of food for the amount of people there, but it's all eaten, and then the karaoke is a given.
Yeah, and these parties would be like at least 4 hours long.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're spending at least half the day with them. Yeah, for sure.
So like we'd be at like this party from like 5 p.m. until 11 at night or something.
Yeah.
And then that's when you'd like start seeing people leave because like, oh, Uncle's drunk again, so
oh no,
we gotta stop the party or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and I just remember like I'd see like uncles, they'd just be like sitting in a chair, but he's like, oh, he's drunk. And then they would say like, oh, he's gonna fall out of his chair soon or whatever. So it'd be that type of that's how bad it would it would be. And that's when they would start calling it.
Yeah,
like, okay, we gotta start wrapping it up, gotta get him to bed or something. But yeah, during those times where we would have like Philam parties, they'd have the kids just play outside.
Okay.
And I always remember playing Manhunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where we would get in trouble.
We are the generation of Manhunt, 100%.
We get in trouble so much.
Manhunt is a cooler version of hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah. Because, like, it started in the afternoon, but once it got darker, they were like,
dark.
oh, got to get the kids inside, but they're still playing Manhunt.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, you guys need to stop hiding.
Hide in the weirdest places, the worst places, like dark little gross crevices, but we would justify it because it was Manhunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We used to play that back in the day with like, with a bunch of young people. To be fair, I was not quite old enough. I would just, whenever my brother was there and then I got to tag along, then I would play. But even then, they never really caught me because they didn't want to tag me and then I would cry. Because I'm the baby.
One thing that really like astonished me with like the housing that we had in Italy was that in our towers, they were really, really big.
Yeah.
Like our house layout.
Yes.
Even though it was kind of like apartment style because
it's
one really big building.
In yeah.
But like we had so much space.
How many apartments were per floor in yours? Ours was 8 per floor and 9 floors tall.
Probably 12.
Oh wow, that is.
I think there were like 4 doors on each side,
Mm-hmm.
and then there were 2 on each corner. No, 1 in each corner, 2 on each side. So we had a corner house,
Okay.
and then in between our corner house would be the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
and then another corner house.
I see.
And then on the other side was another corner house, and they had the larger elevator over there. That's where you would.
Where you PCS?
That's-
like all your furniture. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that's where your furniture would come up.
Yeah.
And then there, maybe it was 11 then. Because I don't think there would be another house or another apartment on the other side because of the elevator.
Mm.
So maybe 11.
Okay. Yeah, no, ours was 8, and I only remember that because we were number 58, because I was on the 5th floor of my tower. And yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. How many bedrooms did y'all have?
1, 2. We only had 3.
So master and 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, we were the same. We had a master and 2 bedrooms, and then we had 2 bathrooms, and then the living kitchen area
Yeah.
/ dining area.
So, like, in American houses,
Mm-hmm.
like, it has their own built-in closet.
Yes.
But, like, in these Italian apartment-style houses,
In the towers, yeah. What's called
in the towers, they had cabinets
Yeah.
for your closets.
That's an old way of building. Before, because it was like whatever generation, it was bad luck to have a lot of doors.
Mhm.
So if you had a closet, it was another door. So people would use chests and armoires,
Mhm.
vice a closet.
Yeah.
That's just an antiquated style of building based on that superstition.
Okay.
But no, I've seen places like that where it's like it's just your room, and then there's just a random chest or like a random whatever that stays with the house because there is no closet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
So there was only 3 bedrooms,
Mm-hmm.
but we had a lot of space because there was a kitchen, there was a dedicated dining room that was attached to the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, that was really one big room.
Yes,
And then,
I think we had the same like apartment, like by the sound of it.
oh no, I don't think so. But then we had like an extra room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the kitchen had a balcony. The kitchen had a balcony, and then our living room / dining room had a balcony
Mm-hmm.
that went all the way through the side of the house that attached to me and my brother's bedroom.
Okay.
So it was,
Oh, so you and Clea shared, and
Yeah.
then Alta had her own room.
and that balcony had doors from my bedroom to the living room,
Okay.
and then in between was the master bedroom, and it had a window that my parents could open up and look out of.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an extra room that we turned into like the movie room.
Cute.
So we had a sofa, and then we had a love seat, and then a TV with a VCR.
Oh, nice.
So-
Old school 90s tech. We love.
that room had a balcony as well.
Oh, so because you were on the corner, so you had both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had 3 balconies,
That's cool.
and we never used the one that was next to the movie room.
Why?
I don't know why.
Just wasn't your.
I think that one, it was just too open
Mm.
because you could see like all of the rest of the island from that.
Yeah.
But the other 2 balconies, even though the longer balcony that was attached from my room to the living room,
Mm-hmm.
that was pointed out towards the parks.
Oh, okay. Down that like the long sandy side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the longer and bigger one, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We just didn't use that one because my dad couldn't screen it. So like he
Oh.
installed like screen so that we couldn't like jump out or whatever.
Right.
And like we would play a lot on the balcony anyway, so
Yeah.
even if we threw like things out of the balcony, it would
Mhm.
get caught by the screen.
Nice. I see. Yeah.
So-
Well, and just safety in general.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool. I remember for ours, we didn't have an extended balcony, but we did have a balcony that was connected to the living dining room, the big room that was
Mhm.
like the living area. And my mom just used that as her makeshift garden. So we did the whole, like, it literally just looked like it was, I don't know if you like put it in a box. It was just like a bunch of like hanging plants, and then like planters that like hung over the edge, and then more hanging plants, and then plants like in front, and it was just like a bunch of plants. So I didn't spend a lot of time on our balcony. Like, I didn't play on the balcony necessarily. I would help my mom if she asked me, but that was like dedicated, like, for all intents and purposes. Like, there was chairs out there that my parents would let me sit in, you know, for like morning coffee time or something, but that was definitely like my mom's garden. A very urban garden, because we definitely, like, we lived in the tower and all this stuff. We didn't have a yard, so my mom just bought a bunch of plantery things, and then just all the plants. Like, it was very, very green, despite it being just a concrete balcony. But yeah, no, we were the same. I had a bedroom, my brother had a bedroom, and then my parents had their master bedroom. So I agree, for it being a apartment, so to speak, in the context of like how the building structure is. Like, it's not like you live in a standalone house. It was a lot of, like, it fit and it worked. You know, I know for families that were more than 3 kids, and this is again just like in Japan, or like where I live specifically in Japan, you were granted access to what was called townhouses, which are essentially mini condos. But, you know, or not even with families with more kids, but it was like you had to be a higher rank, and your family, if your family was bigger, then you could get like a more of a condo style house rather than the apartments, because the apartments were set at 3 bedrooms. If you have a lot of kids, like, you know, some of the condos, though, they had like 4 or 5 bedrooms, which is cool. Do you think that not only being a military brat, but like also just how many places, like having to move as often as you did at a younger age, do you think that made you, I don't know, do you think it gave you valuable experiences that you could like bring into your adulthood?
Valuable experiences?
Or like, I don't know, I'm trying to like phrase it in a way that's general enough that, like, because I want you to answer it, like, what makes you different knowing that you grew up as a military child?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a valuable experience, but it made us, like, when we lived in, especially in Guam and Italy, like, it made us more independent, because we couldn't really depend on other families that we didn't know, because we weren't one, we weren't going to stay there that long, and 2, like, we didn't really get to know our neighbors that much, because we always stayed inside. So we had our own dependency on each other and our own independence. And so when we finally came to the States, and we lived in Maryland, I mean, still I kept to myself. I didn't go anywhere, but when I finally moved here to Virginia, like, there was a lot of things that I was just able to do on my own. And so there was not really a time where I needed to ask for help.
Sure.
Up until, like, maybe when I got a car.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
So, like, that I could, like, I definitely needed, like, ask for help. But, like, school-wise and, like, just going to church, you know, kept to myself, and just, you know, I did what I had to do.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's valuable, but it is an experience.
Well, I think, and I think you worded it well, where, like you said, you being independent, or the situation forced that, in a sense, both of you and your siblings, and your mom, just like I was saying earlier. And I think that's something that, it's one of those, like, hidden things. Like, you don't, unless you're thinking about it, as we are doing right now, and unless you talk about it, it's not something that you consciously think of, because you're just like, well, that's just how it was, and you just kind of had to do and be and live in that situation. I know for me, we moved a lot, in a sense that I feel like we moved a lot in distance, and we moved more than maybe the average person would move in their lifetime. But we were really fortunate that, for whatever reason, most of the tours that we were on were 4 to 6 years. So we were able to, quote unquote, establish roots. But one of the things that I love the most, because, and this is just the way that my family made it, like we always made it this way, is that we can establish deep roots, but those roots will always be easily transferable. So like as a like core values, you know, family and faith and all that stuff, those will always remain the same, but it can be here, it can be there, it can be anywhere. I've mentioned this before, like my current family situation, we are scattered all over, and we're okay with that because that's just how it is. Like with us being government, civilian workers, and even active duty military in the case of my brother, it's like, you know, we're all over the place. If anything, we're just kind of just use it as a reason to be like, hey, I'll come visit you, you know, type of thing, and make it as like a travel thing. But it's not abnormal for us. A lot of people have questioned the lifestyle of my family because they're like, don't you guys want to be together? It's like, yeah, we do, but my brother's living and thriving. I'm living and thriving. My parents are living their best life.
All right.
So like, and we're all happy, healthy, safe. Cannot complain. So it's just like, what more do we need? And I think a lot of that was just because the type of the military lifestyle or that environment, it fostered that, and it fostered us not just our independence, but like encouraging each other's independence. Like I encourage and support my brother in his career, and he does the same for me. You know, even though they're two vastly different things and two vastly different fields and two vastly different, you know, areas of thing. And it's just like, you know, will I ever cross paths with him? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, because we work in two different divisions. But you know, it's like, okay, you know. But at the same time, if he can't do something because he's like, oh, I'm going on deployment or whatever, there's an understanding, and we're all okay with it. So I think that's one of the things that I appreciate the most, and like I can kind of like, I take that into my life now as this is how I approach life in a sense. You know, I'm not married to a location. I'm just married to, eventually to you, hopefully to you soon. But like, just, you know, I what's more important to me are, you know, my core values and the things that are really important. It doesn't have to be in one place or another. We can find home where we make home. And I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh yeah. So when we finally moved from Italy and came to the States,
back to Maryland, yeah. To the States.
It was more of a culture shock to me.
Huge culture shock.
Just because like the place that we lived in Maryland, we were outside the Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. It was the former Redskins stadiums. Now it's the Commanders.
Oh, okay. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Okay, I'm tracking. Sorry.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess the area that we lived in, it was predominantly non-Caucasian. Okay. So, like when I went to school, about 85% were non-Caucasian, and then maybe 14% Caucasian, 1% other. Yes.
What is other?
Other non-Caucasian or Caucasian.
What? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, I get non-Caucasian. Well, non-Caucasian is like, that's one very big category. It's like, because you can subcategorize that. But, and then I understand Caucasian, obviously. But where does other fall?
Okay, so let me rephrase. Caucasian and then non-Caucasian would be African American.
Okay, sure.
And then other.
So like Asians and, you know,
everything else.
American Indian.
Everything else.
Gotcha. I'm tracking now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. And so
that's so funny.
Yeah. And so going to school in Maryland, 85% of my friends were African American.
Okay, yeah.
And me, I was the token Asian.
You ain't wrong, fam. We've all been there.
Literally, there were only 2 Asians that went to my school in elementary. It was me and someone in like the 2nd or 3rd grade.
Wow.
And the crazy thing was, we were neighbors. So I literally lived next to the only other Asian that went to that school. But yeah, it was a culture shock. I was like, oh, like the predominance of African American. Like I learned so much about just how they live and their culture and all that, and like just all the different stories that they had to tell. Like just growing up from a broken household or in poverty and stuff, and I was just like, wow, I'm privileged.
Yes. Yeah.
To be, in the state that I am today.
Yes.
And so that gave me such a huge culture shock. And then when I moved here to Virginia, I was like, okay, now it's a real melting pot.
Yeah.
Because there really wasn't a predominance of one culture over the other, but it was just a lot of cultures mixed together.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this I could deal with, because that's how it was like when I was in Dodd school in Italy. And so that coming here to Virginia kind of reminded me of going back to school in Italy.
Oh, okay.
It's just in Italy, everyone was somewhat part of the military.
Yeah.
Because they were
connected to in order for you to go to a Dodd school. Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, that was just a huge culture shock. So did you experience anything like that?
Oh, the thing that comes to mind is, like, very hyper specifically, was I went to school and what we moved at the kind of like the end of summer, and where I went to, there were regular schools and then there were magnet schools. I don't know if magnet is still a program, but essentially it's like gifted in a sense.
It attracts all the smarter students.
Right. Like you have to apply for it. You have to have a certain GPA for it. You have to like write an essay, like whatever it was. Specifically in my area, there were different types of magnet schools. So magnet schools with specialty. The magnet school with specialty that I wanted to go to was, of course, the art school. I could not get in my freshman year because I missed there's an audition. And I missed the audit. We did not find out until after the fact that they would have granted me military, they would have granted me an audition because of my parents' military status. We didn't know till after, but there was a period of 2 or 3 weeks where I had to go to my quote unquote neighborhood high school. So this was the high school that I was assigned to solely based on I live in this zip code, so this is the high school I go to, which was not a magnet school. It's just a regular school. And because I literally moved like less than a week or, a week before school started, they really just everything was like starting fresh. So when first day of school, I pretty sure, or this might have been like a couple days before school, but I like went to the school with my parents because we had to put in all of my paperwork, like, hey, I'm a new student, da 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 da. And one of the things that they gave me that day was a reading comprehension test as a 9th grader. And I was like, this is interesting. So they gave me like a passage from some novel. It really was not, this was, I don't know, something you would do in elementary school is what I thought. I read it out loud. They told me, they're like, can you please read this out loud? Okay, read this out loud. And I read it out loud. It took me like, a minute. It was not a full page. And then they asked me, can you summarize what you read? So I summarized what I read. And I'm just talking to this principal, teacher, whoever it was. And they're like, oh, okay, you have full reading comprehension. And I was like, I hope so. I'm 14 years old. What do you mean I have full reading comprehension? Like, I would hope so. And they're like, oh, no, we just need to do this to see if you need to be placed in, remedial reading or something. And I was like, oh, no, I'm good. And then I think the next question they asked me was, do you know how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division? They just asked me. And I said, yes. They're like, okay, so you don't need remedial math. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, I'm not the best at math, but like, I don't need remedial math. And, you know, so just like, okay. So then parents take care of the paperwork. It's all good. I go to school, and I'm in this neighborhood school for like 2 weeks. And the first thing my English teacher tells me, day one, she asked me, why are you here? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going to school, like, whatever. She said, no, you need to be going to one of the magnet schools. She's like, you don't belong here. This is for children who don't have, like, who aren't good students or whatever. You know, she told me, she's like, you were clearly working at an advanced level in comparison to the other students. In my head, I was like, no, I'm not, but whatever. And so she called my parents, I'm pretty sure, or something along the lines. The school contacted my parents, and they were like, hey, she can apply for magnet school. And I think also my mom was doing research, so like they were able to put the pieces together. They applied me. I went to a college prep school. I was able to transfer 2 weeks later to a college prep school, which then I was put in AP classes, honor classes, and like all the standard normal things that were like what I was on track for. And that was probably my biggest culture shock was, oh, there are levels to this, and like what I thought was normal is not normal. When I went to Dodds schools, and I cannot speak for every like country, but when I lived in Japan and I was at a Dodds is Department of Defense. It's where military kids go to school when we live overseas. You're just, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but you're just given opportunities. We have that privilege. We were given that privilege opportunity. And so I was in, pre-algebra and algebra in middle school. I was advanced in science and in, all the things before I even got to high school. I was already taking language in middle school. So I was already in Spanish. They put me back in Spanish too, just because they didn't want to put me too far ahead as a freshman. They literally were telling me, they're like, we don't want you to be so far ahead that you're going to miss out on hanging out with your peers. Like, it wasn't even like a quals thing. They were just like, you should probably hang out with people your age, because if you go to Spanish 3, you're going to be with seniors. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I took 2, 3, and AP in high school. Spanish. I don't know why, but I did. Probably because it was an easy A. And then, so it was like, that was a big culture shock of just the expectation of what it meant to be a student, vastly different from a Dodds perspective and from an public American system perspective. I will also say, I moved back to Florida, and Florida is notoriously known for not being the most proactive in the education department. That's not to say that the Florida education system is horrible. I mean, it's flawed, certainly, but that was the case. That was kind of my biggest, like, oh, and like, as you said, I think you saying the word, like, realizing and kind of being humbled of like, oh, I've had a lot of privileges in my life, and being able to like acknowledge that at a younger age, I feel like was good for me. Also, and just another like side tangent, I think also being able to live overseas gave me at a younger age, it gave me a more global perspective, which I don't think a lot of children who maybe have only grown up in the States have. Now, granted, internet, very different now.
Yeah.
Like, they have much more access to much more information much earlier on. But I also feel like having the opportunity to live within a completely separate culture of your own for an extended period of time at a young and developmental age has an impact on you, realizing like, oh, there are other people in this world, and there are other things in this world. It's not just the States. It's not just, this one, whether Florida, Virginia, whatever, Maryland. Like, you gain such a more global perspective, and being exposed to cultures so early on, I think just kind of helps foster the the mentality and idea that there is so much more to the world in the grand scheme of things versus just not knowing that. And because I remember, like, it was a culture shock going to Japan, but it was like as you said, it's a culture shock coming back, because I was like, why are people like why is the school system like this? Why is this like this? Because I was so used to living in a completely different country, albeit in, like, you know, a military setting, but like it was I don't know, it was just like, oh, I thought this is how things worked. No, it wasn't. And you just kind of like, again, you're constantly having to readjust and reformulate and broaden your mind to be like, okay, this is the situation I'm in. How am I going to adjust to be successful and continue doing what I need to do? So yeah, love that for us. Go military brats. Yep. Ayo. But yeah, I think it's a very, I'm very grateful for the experiences. It did not come without its fair share of sacrifice and endurance, for sure. But I think in the long term, I'm much more grateful for it, because I got to see things and experience things that I know people, a grand plethora of people, will never have the opportunity to see. And I'm grateful for that. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this kind of more relaxed episode. I feel like just us talking about ourselves again. I feel like it's been a little bit. We've kind of had a lot of guest episodes recently and talking about like different topics, but it was nice to talk and reminisce on ourselves and our own experiences. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments down below. Are you a military brat, or have you had the opportunity to live overseas? Or if not, would you like to live overseas? Where would you go? We'd love to be able to read those in the comments down below. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.